Hello there, welcome to Granada Reports. We're live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello there, thanks for joining us on the programme this evening.
The Manchester Arena bomb survivors accused of faking their injuries win a landmark judgment against a conspiracy theorist who claimed no one was killed or injured in the bombing.
Not so cheap as chips, could rising prices force fish and chip shops out of business?
The Year of the Dragon, Liverpool prepares to see the Lunar New Year in style.
I feel free as a butterfly. It makes me feel happy.
How Stephanie made her mark at the first ever Special Olympics Winter Games.
It's all coming back to us now, years after appearing on our Tour of Talent, how January is now making waves as Celine Dion.
And in the weather, most of yesterday's snow has now melted away. We're expecting sunny spells and scattered showers over the weekend, so stay tuned for all the details.
First tonight to the landmark legal action taken by survivors of the Manchester Arena bombing against a conspiracy theorist.
Martin Hibbert was left with a spinal cord injury while his daughter Eve suffered brain damage on the night that 22 people were killed almost 7 years ago.
But Martin and Eve's injuries and the attack itself were questioned by Richard Hall, a conspiracy theorist from the northeast.
Mr. Hall claimed they were acting, and he's been accused of visiting the homes and workplaces of some of the injured and recording footage of them. Now, a judge at the High Court has dismissed Mr. Hall's claims, calling them absurd and fantastical. In a moment, we'll be chatting to Martin, but first, Mel Barham reports.
Richard Hall claimed the Manchester Arena bombing was fake, staged by government agencies, a conspiracy theorist who argued no one was actually killed or injured. Martin Hibbert and his daughter Eve, who was 14 at the time, were at the Ariana Grande concert that night back in 2017. Salman Abedi detonated a homemade bomb, killing 22 people. Martin was left paralysed, his daughter suffering life-changing brain injuries. Hall's claims that survivors were lying about their injuries prompted father and daughter to take him to court for harassment, misuse of private information and data protection. He's said to have made money from his conspiracy theories and was accused of visiting the homes and workplaces of those injured, including Eve's. Yesterday, the judge ruled in their favour, calling Richard Hall's theories absurd and fantastical, and said it was fanciful to suggest Abedi didn't die, and still more fanciful to argue the bomber was an intelligence asset. Further hearings are expected to take place to determine the rest of the claim and costs. Mel Barham, ITV News.
Well, Martin joins us in the studio now. Martin, thank you for coming in. You've got the judgment that you hoped for then, but what have the last couple of years been like for you?
It's been really tough. Obviously, I found out about Richard Hall videoing Eve when I was giving evidence at the inquiry, and I'd obviously seen footage of me and Eve during, before and after the concert. So to have then been told that the same person that's been ripping apart my interviews and everything that I've done since the attack, to then find out that he's been to Eve's home and videoed her and allegedly put cameras in the garden to try and catch her out because he didn't think that, one, we were related, so he actually questioned that I was her father, so I've had to give a birth certificate to the court, so he now accepts that. But to find out that he travelled from Wales to my daughter's house and videoed her, even talking about it now, I still can't believe it. And that's when he crossed the line, and I knew that I had to do something. So this has been almost 3 years in the making, and I've not been able to say anything or do anything. So today's a big day for me where I can finally let some of that emotion and frustration out.
So how difficult was it for you to see him and hear these ludicrous claims in court?
I had my best friend with me, Steve, and at one point he had to grab my arm because I was physically shaking. You know, to sit in a courtroom, it's the first time that I've seen him in the flesh, but I knew I had to be there. But to hear him talk for an hour and a half about that I'm lying, that I'm a crisis actor, that we weren't there on the night, that the bomb didn't happen, that it was a government cover-up, that Salman Abedi is still alive, that the 22 people that died are still alive. Now, I know some of those families, and I'm very close to some of those families. So to see the pain and suffering that they still go through, as I've said, you know, I won't allow that, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So today's a big day, and as you can see, I've got a big smile on my face.
Well, so you've done so many positive things, of course, since the bombing. You were our Pride of Britain winner, of course, as well.
Yes.
This was very different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So how much has this whole experience affected you and affected Eve?
I was brought up in a different time, in a different place. It's kind of sticks and stones, but as I've said today, you know, what he's got to understand, he's tried to attack the most precious thing in my world, and that takes it to a different level. You know, he has crossed the line. You know, I've got a very good legal team, and this is a landmark case. So this hopefully will act as a precedent. It will put other people off, but hopefully it will give others in our position a bit of courage to say, you know what, we can defeat this.
And this was a man who's making a lot of money about these conspiracy, ludicrous claims, and you want to stop that?
Correct. So shut him down, shut his website down, and yeah, hopefully, I've been speaking with Andy Burnham as well, hopefully if we are successful, which, you know, we think we will be, you know, we maybe look at bringing out an act, a law, maybe Eve's Law, something like that, and then, you know, there's something there that it's a criminal offence to do what Richard has done and to make money from others people's pain and suffering.
Well, Martin, he clearly crossed the wrong father.
Correct,
and
yes.
you are taking this all the way,
Thank
and
you.
we will follow that court case.
Thank you for your
very
support.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to some of the day's other news now, and a murder investigation has been launched after a shooting in Scammerdale. 33-year-old Lenny Scott from Prescott was found with serious gunshot wounds on Peel Road yesterday evening. He later died in hospital. No arrests have been made. Police say the offender, wearing black clothing and an orange high-vis jacket, left the scene on an electric or scrambler bike.
Police in the Isle of Man say a body found on Douglas Beach is that of a local woman. Emergency services were called to Loch Promenade yesterday afternoon. The woman's family has been informed and are being supported by officers. People are being asked not to speculate about the nature of her death.
Now let's find out what's coming up in the ITV News at 6:30 with Charlene.
Coming up, Prince Harry settles the remaining part of his phone hacking claim against the Mirror Group. The Duke of Sussex will receive what his lawyers described as a substantial sum in damages. First came red and yellow, but now blue cards could be introduced in football. We'll explain what it means for the beautiful game. And Swift mania erupts ahead of American football's biggest showcase, the Super Bowl. So join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Well, for many people, Friday night means a treat with a traditional chippy tea, and Martin's just told us that's what he's having for tea tonight. But fish and chip shops could be under threat, according to the industry association that represents them.
You know, many businesses, they are feeling the squeeze. The average cost of a portion now about £10, and increasing prices are making a takeaway meal unaffordable for some customers. James Webster's been investigating.
The smell of fresh fish frying. The sizzle of the chips in hot oil. Every year, we order 382 million portions, but the industry is taking a battering from rising costs.
We've almost seen a rising cost of 50% in the three main elements, really, the oil, the potatoes and the cod itself. I mean, it's a phenomenal increase, and obviously you can't just double your prices. So therefore, I mean, you have to weather that cost. Then you've got your staff cost as well.
Historically, it's been the cost of wet fish that's been a concern. But now it's the price of potatoes too, partly because farmers have been planting fewer since the COVID lockdowns, and the war in Ukraine has pushed up the cost of fertiliser. In all his years in the industry, this wholesaler from Bury has never known it so bad.
The saying used to go cheap as chips. I have been around potatoes all my life, and the saying was pretty true. Potatoes were cheap and chips were cheap. This isn't the reality anymore. The costs, they may come down in some aspects, but they're never going to come down to what they were previously.
And fish and chip shops also know they have to keep their menus affordable for customers, like these in Chorley.
You can't afford to go to chip shop once a week like you used to be able to and stuff like that. It just doesn't happen. It's not realistic.
Obviously now with the option of small portions and lunchtime deals, it's making it affordable.
I know they've gone up, but I don't think twice. As long as it's the right chippy.
There are currently more than 10,000 fish and chip shops across the country, but the association that represents them fears up to a third could close if they're squeezed, both with rising costs and an inability to increase prices.
We've done our best to cushion consumers, and we're offering different portion sizes, trying to hit a price point, and also taking a lot of the increases on the chin. You know, we've had to stand them, but there's only so long you can do that for. And you open a business to be entrepreneurial. You know, you want to do business, you want to play a part in the economy, and you want to play a part in the local community. And, unfortunately, for the last few years, it's been very difficult to do that. You know, we're just treading water, and I think a lot of owners are frustrated because there's not a lot left at the end of the day.
This is an industry that will be watching for any changes from the Chancellor in next month's budget, which may ease the pressures that it's facing. James Webster, ITV News, Bury.
Well, next, Europe's oldest Chinese community is marking the Lunar New Year with some of its biggest ever celebrations.
Yeah, Liverpool is welcoming in the Year of the Dragon with a festival of colour and sound throughout the city centre.
And it also marks the 25th anniversary of Liverpool's twinning with the beautiful Shanghai.
Yeah, well, I've been making a special feature for ITVX about this year's preparations, and here's a sneak preview.
For the Chinese, New Year is all about family, and this family is preparing to tell a musical story. 3 generations recounting the history of the ancient festival through music and dance.
People love the lion dance, the dragon dance and the firecrackers. I think that's what Liverpool's about. It's inclusive.
Next to the biggest Chinese arch outside China, there is a new super-sized restaurant with a menu to match the scale of its ambition.
Chinatown's been very quiet for the last 10 years, so we're here trying to, bring everyone back into Chinatown, all the locals, and all the people who enjoy Chinatown really and want to enjoy the experience.
Across town, this Kung Fu school is also preparing for its busiest time of the year.
It's important for the Chinese community to be able to show themselves off to the rest of all the other communities.
He's hoping the Year of the Dragon leads to success and good fortune for this city and beyond.
Well, that banquet looked absolutely beautiful.
It was very nice.
You didn't bring any back, though.
No, sorry.
Well, you can see more of Andy's report on ITVX. Just go to the news section and you'll find the very latest from Granada Reports.
But what else can you expect to see in Liverpool this weekend? Let's ask Claire Hannah.
Welcome to a very soggy but still beautiful Royal Albert Dock in Liverpool, where preparations are underway for celebrations for this year's Chinese New Year. Now, this is the first year the celebrations are spread all across the city instead of just at Chinatown. And here in the water we do have something very special. We've got a dragon, as you can see behind me, and with us we've got Bev, who is in charge of the dragon. Now, he looks amazing.
He's lovely, isn't he? He's absolutely lovely. And he's a fire-breathing dragon with a few sparkles that come out the top of him, and of course he lights up.
Yeah, and he's 25 metres long, isn't he?
22 metres long, and he's obviously very benevolent because he's based on the Chinese mythology around the boy who finds the pearl and swallows the pearl so that the emperor doesn't find it and turns into a kind dragon.
That's lovely. And then on Sunday, that boy with the pearl will be with the dragon.
Sitting on his head, holding the pearl.
That's incredible. So a real treat for everybody this year.
Oh, absolutely, and it's all free.
Yeah, something completely different. So that dragon is going to be here tonight, tomorrow night and Sunday night. But as we've said, this is the first year the celebrations aren't just in Chinatown. We've got Councillor Harry Doyle with us. Thank you for coming out in this weather.
No problem.
So what can you tell us? What else is going on?
Well, it's a big event for us here in Liverpool, and it spreads across the city, so it's the biggest footprint we've had so far. So up at Bombsdale Church in St Luke's, we've got projection from Focal Studios. It's going to tell the story, actually, of the boy in the pearl. So we've got a real theme going on across the city this time. So every night from 5:30 till 9, people can go along, they can see what's happening here at the docks, and they can see what's happening at St Luke's.
And Chinese New Year in Liverpool, it's always really special, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. We've got one of the the oldest Chinese community, settled community here across Europe, and so it's really a chance to celebrate that community, but also show that Liverpool is an international outward-facing city.
So everybody, if they've not got any, well, if their plans should be to come here.
Oh yeah, come rain or shine, you've got to come to Liverpool this weekend and you'll have a fantastic time.
It is. I can second what Harry says. I've spent many Chinese New Years in Liverpool. They're expecting more than 20,000 people in the city for the celebrations this year, which will start tonight.
Thanks, Claire. Yeah, I think it's going to be a busy one wherever you're celebrating. Right, on to sport now, and a change at the top for Blackburn, Chris.
Yeah, this has come in the last hour, but it's fair to say it's come as no real surprise. Jon Dahl Tomasson has left Blackburn Rovers by mutual consent, with John Eustace expected to become the next Rovers manager. The former Birmingham City boss was replaced by Wayne Rooney at St Andrews in October. The Blackburn team he's linked with hasn't won in 8 league matches. Tomasson, who is believed to have fallen out with the Rovers board, is now being linked with the Swedish national team. Well, now to the Premier League and 2 all-North West fixtures which will have an impact at both ends of the table. A win for Manchester City against Everton tomorrow lunchtime would put them top of the table for a couple of hours at least. Looking at the bottom of the table, you can see what it means to Everton too. But Sean Dyche's 300th Premier League match as a manager will see him banned from the touchline after picking up his 3rd yellow card of the season.
I've got booked for 3 really bad decisions. I think there should be a bit more tolerance. You know, 4th officials there, if they see, if deep down they're thinking, the ref might have that one wrong, and I don't see why you book for it. That's the moment when they should use a bit of their game understanding and think, right, okay, maybe just come back in here and just say, listen, you maybe got that one wrong, but we need you to just, you know, stay in the technical or whatever. I think that can be a calming down moment.
I have a huge respect for Sean and for the work I've done in his career, like I said before. So the way he plays is to believe it, with the players he has in his disposal, so focus on what you have to do.
Well, keeping a close eye on that result will be Liverpool and Burnley before they go head-to-head at a packed Anfield. They'll play in front of nearly 61,000 fans, Liverpool's biggest ever crowd, after the new Anfield Road stand was granted a new safety certificate. Burnley boss Vincent Kompany says Jurgen Klopp inspires him to improve as a manager, just as he improved as a Manchester City player when the two clubs were neck and neck all season long.
You treat wins differently, you know, wins are just like one step, because, you know, you've got 14 more games to win, you've got 13 more games to win, and it seemed to be that way for a number of years, and good that was my playing days. I'm a manager now, so I have a different focus, of course, but definitely it gets the best out of you.
I really think Vinny is doing an incredible job there, to be honest. He learned so early in his managing career so many very important things for the career after it. By playing good football, by sticking to their principles, I couldn't respect and I couldn't admire it more, to be honest.
Well, if Manchester United are to launch a late charge for a Champions League spot, then Sunday's match is a real 6-pointer. They head to 4th-placed Aston Villa, who sit 8 points clear of United. But Erik ten Hag's side are back in form, having scored 15 goals in their 5 matches so far in 2024.
I've said to the team from the start of January, every game is now final. So that was also our approach when we to West Ham United. We were one point behind them. This is a final. We have to take this challenge. We have to see this as a final, and so that will be every game from now on for us. So yeah, we are already in that mood.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsors of the Granada Sport Report.
Next tonight, we meet one of our medal winners from the first ever Special Olympics National Winter Games. The event is for people with intellectual disabilities and recently took place in Italy. Among the winners was Runcorn ice skater Stephanie Gott, who claimed 2 golds. It's an incredible achievement for the 26-year-old who's not let a stroke, bullying or disability stop her from achieving her dreams, as David Chisnall reports.
I feel free as a butterfly because it makes me feel happy.
Stephanie Gott's joy from being on the ice warms the soul.
This routine by the ice skater from Runcorn helped her to win one of 2 golds at the first ever Special Olympics National Winter Games. But what she takes from the sport is much more than medals.
It's to change my life forever. I was bullied at school because I was different. People used to take the mick out my arm, my leg. From the timid girl I was to not the timid girl I was when I was really little, because the people treated me a bit different than I was. So I feel free as a butterfly.
But it's not just the bullies that Stephanie has overcome. Now 26, she had a tough start to life, suffering a stroke as a baby and undergoing a major operation less than 2 weeks old.
I had open heart surgery at 10 days old. She was lucky to survive. I do cry sometimes at the thought of what she's done. All the family's so proud of her.
Despite weakness in the right side of her body, Stephanie skates 4 times a week at D-side after falling in love with ice skating when she was younger.
I was Bambi on ice. It's always been my nickname from my niece and nephew. Here comes Bambi. And then for my 14th birthday, I had lessons. I enjoyed it, and my mum goes, "Uh-oh, you're going to regret that now." And ever since, I've never been off.
Stephanie was one of 11 Northwest athletes that included her friend and fellow skater Nikki Sibian and 9 skiers from the Rosendale Ski Club that brought home 15 medals from Great Britain's first ever National Winter Games, which were recently held out in Italy.
We don't get snow like this in Britain very often. We've had COVID, we've had too many years where our athletes in winter sports haven't been able to come and express themselves in the right situation. So this is really another great step in rebuilding that importance of winter sports.
Hey! Well, Stephanie and the rest of our Special Olympians will hope for more medal success out in Italy next year when it hosts the World Winter Games. David Chisnell, ITV News.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done to Stephanie and all of our medalists.
Brilliant games. Thanks very much indeed, Chris. Now we're going back to the dim and distant late 2000s. Our own Paul Crone whizzed around the region for the Granada Report's Tour of Talent.
Now, one person who stole the show in Lancashire was 18-year-old singer January Butler from Oldham.
And now 16 years on, she's embarking on a global tour with her Celine Dion tribute act.
Yeah, time for the 2 of them to catch up. Well, we can't leave January all by herself, can we?
From a wet, windy car park in Lytham back in 2007. To a more fitting venue for the talents of January Butler.
If you want me like this, and if you need me like that.
She stole the hearts of the judges on the Tour of Talent and is now wowing audiences with a Celine Dion tribute act. Time to meet up again with January and look back at our Granada Report's Moment in the Spotlight. So you've not seen this?
No, I have not seen it.
16 years?
No, look at my hair.
I remember doing the audition and I just wasn't happy with the way I performed, and I came off stage, remember, and I was crying my eyes out, and I went back home. We was at my caravan at the time, and I cried for 3 hours straight, and then I got this phone call and my dad said, "Granada's on the phone for you."
Now a married mother of 2, January thought her singing career had run its course, but she started singing again with virtual gigs during lockdown as her favourite artist, Celine Dion.
She's just timeless, and her as a person, you know everything about her because she's so open with people, and I just think she's just an absolutely inspirational person. I've always been obsessed with her.
Her tour will take her to Australia and Canada, but much closer to home, January will be appearing in February at Viva Blackpool on Valentine's Day.
There's quite a few niche people that people can't do, and Celine Dion is one of them, or not many people can do, because January Butler can actually, if you close your eyes, and you would think that Celine had popped in for a cup of coffee and a song.
Tonight's winner of the Tour of Talent is... January is the winner! That's the trophy. It broke and we fixed it. You've glued it back on and we gave you another.
You did.
And that was it. You still got it. I know. All these years later. Paul Crone, ITV News, Blackpool.
Of the power of
Brilliant, you saw it here first. Right, now for the weather, here's Emma.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you. Well, any of yesterday's snow is now melting away, turning back to rain. And there may just be a little bit of snow remaining over the very tops of the hills in the Lake District or the tops of the North Pennines. Just a wee dusting, but everything just turning back to rain now. Some sunny spells around over the weekend, and tonight could be quite murky as well. Low pressure is going to be in charge for the next few days. The lows drifting up to the north of the UK, introducing more of a milder south-southwesterly airflow. It's all quite messy over the next few days. By Monday, there'll be showers pushing in from the west, and then we're expecting it to be drier on Tuesday, so all quite changeable and rather unsettled. Rewinding to the next few hours, any earlier rain is going to continue pushing away northwards. Skies clearing from the south there, but still quite a lot of moisture in the air, so we are expecting quite a bit of low cloud, mist and hill fog around, and some of those fog patches could be quite stubborn into tomorrow morning as well. Winds will generally be light, cooler temperatures to the south under the clearer skies through parts of Cheshire, where we may get more in the way of fog patches. Will be frost-free though, a little bit breezier across the Isle of Man into tomorrow. Talking of which, the sun is up at 7:41, sets at 5:10 in the afternoon, and we are expecting it to be a brighter day and a slightly milder day than today. As I say, some of the mist and fog patches could take time to clear, but then the sun will poke through into the afternoon. It's going to be largely dry and bright, milder temperatures than today as that milder air continues to flood northwards. Slightly breezier through the Irish Sea, but light winds really everywhere, and then maybe some more mist and fog patches forming overnight into Sunday. We've got some showers transitioning eastwards, and on Monday, out of those showers, 1 or 2 flakes of snow at higher levels. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Emma, thanks very much indeed for that. Very disappointed in Crony there, not using all of those Celine Dion puns you could have done.
Yeah.
I think twice.
What's your favourite?
Favourite? Oh, I actually really like a song called Misled.
Oh, I don't know
Look
that one.
up. Very good. Right. Thank you for watching. We're back Monday at 6. Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.